There's, I guess, like any job, I think the most important aspect is the people that we work with. That, you know, having a close group of people to work with that you get along with and that you can achieve things with. And sometimes they're really quite substantial things. If we look here in Ericsson Australia, we've had a lot of world firsts implemented here, and the people involved in implementing those, they get a lot of credit, they get opportunity to sell those, what they've done at global conferences like Mobile World Congress, where they get to go and present what they've implemented in a particular market and share that with the world. So people is probably the most important aspect of work, and the second is having something that's interesting and that changes. And you know, if you're not interested in doing the same thing again and again and again, then IT and engineering is a good role, because you will never be doing the same thing again and again. It's constantly something different. So that it's having that constant, I guess, would you say, not competition, challenge. It's a constant challenge.
I think what drew me to the industry in the beginning is still what I enjoy the most. The fact that there's always things that are changing. Technology advances so fast, so it means I always have to think about what I'm learning, where I'm growing, and where I need to grow. So there's lots of different ways to do things, and finding those ways to do things is really engaging, because it makes you always think about what's coming next, and if that comes next, how can that help? And in the end, I purely believe technology should be helping people. So whatever technology is doing should be to the betterment of other people.
Pretty much the client interaction, and I really enjoy helping people with the problems they're having with technology, and I really like that face-to-face interaction with the client to be able to find out those details of the problem and help their business grow.
That you're always at the forefront of change, and you're building software that helps people delivering something which is going to be useful for a business, and it's always exciting and new.
Probably how constantly it's changing and evolving. There's always new things happening. Part of my day that I'll read blog posts about social media, in particular in marketing, since we are primarily a marketing company, but other technologies and emerging technologies in the field and new applications of those technologies. So that's part of the really cool thing about IT is there are so many applications, and it's across the board in multiple industries and multiple disciplines, and so it's constantly changing. There's always something new, so it's very fast-paced and energetic. It doesn't feel like you're stuck behind barriers a lot of the time, and that's at least what, specifically with this company too, it's pretty fast-paced, and I really love that.
The new technology, finding new technology and figuring out interesting ways of making it work better for people. So how can we make things faster, easier, more fun? How can we take, you know, there's things like Google Glass, and there's Oculus Rift and things like that. How can we take all of that technology and come up with things that people can use every day that are interesting, but not only interesting and fun, but make the world a better place? So how can you improve everyone's day with technology? And I think that's enormously amusing.
Is that IT, for me, is the major catalyst for change in our society. I feel very strongly that there's a lot of things wrong in our society. The environmental degradation that we're causing, the poverty that we see, you know, there is so much that we could do to improve the way that we exist and the existence of so many people. And for me, I think IT is a real enabler of that. I think we can do so much with technology that allows us to have better health outcomes, have better education outcomes, have you know, people amplifying the impact of people, so that the small things that they are doing have a massive impact. And you can see that in when there's things like humanitarian crises, the impact of Twitter in terms of getting relief efforts coordinated and on the ground so much faster than we've ever been able to achieve before. We built an application, ThoughtWorks built an application called Rapid FTR, which was essentially about taking when there is a natural disaster and families get separated, rather than taking people to a wall of photos, this was actually a photo board essentially on a BlackBerry that the Red Cross people could take around and show to people. And it reduced the time it takes to reunite a family from something like 5 or 6 weeks to 6 days. Like, just think about the impact that has on a little 6-year-old kid who's been separated from their parents in an earthquake or in a tsunami, getting back to their parents within 6 days rather than 6 weeks. Like, that's life-changing. And, you see the same sorts of changes happen in organisations, in IT, in places like financial services. If you can take people that are currently doing, really dull, really boring work, and you can have the computers do that, then those people can then go and spend time with customers. They can spend time on marketing. They can spend time on, human resources and upskilling and mentoring other people. You can actually have people working on far higher value kind of work. But I guess, yeah, so sort of setting the scene as I think IT is a huge catalyst for change. I also see us as a very big part of the activist movement. So a colleague of ours, Aaron Schwartz, who passed away last year, he was really passionate about freedom of information. He was very passionate about freedom of the internet, and he really strongly believed that we didn't have the right to take all of the study and academic research and all of the journals that have been written by all of the scientists and academics over the course of hundreds of years of human history and lock that behind a paywall so that a corporation can make money off the academic study and thought leadership that we'd seen over hundreds of years. He believed that information should be free, and that the poorest people in the remotest villages in India should have equal access to humanity's vast knowledge stores as the Harvard University graduate or someone working out of MIT. That kind of passion and that kind of that idea of sharing of information and the idea of like let's all improve together and let's use IT to enable that. It just, for me, it's not the answer. It's a tool that enables us to get to the answer and empowers all of us, I guess, to try and be bigger than ourselves and be better than ourselves and learn more and know more. And we've got these great tools at our disposal that if we do live in the remotest part of far northern Australia, for example, we've got access to the learning and the knowledge and the education that some of the best and brightest in the United States have access to. I love that IT enables that. That's, for me, a huge part of working that, and I believe very strongly that we need to fight to keep that mindset and to keep that open, and we shouldn't allow our technology to be corrupted by big business just purely for their own profit. We should use it as a humanitarian aid to further all of our thinking and all of our knowledge.